Hi, and welcome to Seek Sanctuary, a series of talks put together by the Sanctuary Nature Foundation and Book My Show to commemorate 50 years of Earth Day. Today, I'm going to be in conversation with Nikkhil Advani, well known film director and producer, and also a great nature lover, and also part of the Sanctuary Nature Foundation board. Hi, Nikkhil. Thank you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you,
Nikhil,
Anna.
Nikhil, just earlier today we were talking about where we are today, and where we've brought ourselves today. We haven't taken a look at all the warning signs that have come to us, and I just wanted you to share what you feel about the now, the present.
So, Anna, I think that if you do speak with people like Bittu Segal and Lord Nicholas Stern and experts who have been they've been warning about the pandemic and they've been warning about this situation for God knows how long. I mean, I was part of some of those conversations, and honestly speaking, even I was not really. I was not really did not understand possibly the immense this thing of what they were talking about. What would be a pandemic? I mean, we have gone through Ebola. It didn't affect us. It was something which was more Africa, more some other parts of the world. SARS was more for China, Hong Kong, Canada. Um, did not affect us, and so and living in India, we are used to vaccines. We are, as a population, as we grow, as we have children, we say, okay, take the booster vaccine, take the mumps vaccine, take the malaria vaccine, chicken pox, etc. So we are used to those kind of stuff. So but when you have the experts talking about a pandemic, like what is happening globally right now, just looking at the numbers, right? We are looking at it's I remember a month and a half ago when it started. It was on the 9th of March. I was about to leave for Uzbekistan to start shooting for my second schedule of a show that I'm doing for Hotstar called Mughals, based on Alex Rutherford's books. And we had 200 people already in Uzbekistan waiting for me to come in to start shooting. Suddenly, we take a decision to shut down everything. And when you're talking about shutting down a, a production, I mean, of course, people have shut down countries right now, right? I'm just saying, for us, it was such a big thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. You don't usually shut down productions. You always find some way or the other to make sure that the shoot happens. So the point is that 1.5 months ago, we thought it would be 1,000 people will die, 10,000 people will die. Maybe then they started saying, then it came 3 million people will die. Will get affected by it. 3 million people will be affected by it. I was just looking at some figures on CNN, and it's already 3.4 million people. 3.4 million people, and some of the major countries, USA, UK, are just peaking. They've just started peaking, right? India, for that matter, has just started peaking in parts. We are sitting in our houses in Mumbai, and we have no idea when this is going to end.
And how it's going to end, we don't know. I think even this whole issue of lifting the lockdown or loosening things up is we're all very hopeful, and we hope that it can happen as soon as possible. But the the how of it is also quite unnerving. I mean, just one train journey, and there's a lack of social distancing. I mean, social distancing is also a bit of a middle class, upper class word in India, because that's something we lack.
No,
It's just
totally.
so.
No, totally. In the sense that, unfortunately for India as a country, this is a disease, or this is a virus that has been passed down from us to the people on the streets, right? I mean, it's not something that you saw its originated from the bastis and from the slums and from the community, right? It came from the international travelers, right? We they were there was not adequate checking happening at the airport. Suddenly the state government is blaming the central government and saying that they did not tell us that we had to check everybody coming in. They only told us you have to check people coming from various countries, etc., etc. So there was a full blame game happening. But what is the final outcome of that is you have lakhs and lakhs of people who, when you lock down, so it's easy for me to lock down my house, Anna. It's very easy for you to lock down your house, and you can have your kids staying at home, and you can have everybody staying at home. It's easy for us to do it. And honestly speaking, I hate to say it, and I say to a lot of people that I am thriving, right? Because I wake up in the morning, I have online, I have the internet, I have bandwidth. I'm talking to people. We have meetings going on all the time. We are planning for when the lockdown does open, the whole mantra being that if you're prepared, once a lockdown opens, the one who's prepared the most will get will come out with flying colors. But the point is that I know people who are do not have homes. They used to I read an article about the migrants now, and in fact, this afternoon we got reports from sources that migrants who have reached the village after walking 300, 400 kilometers, the villages and the homes, the villages which are their homes, the villagers are telling them you need to go back.
My God. Yeah. Yeah.
They are telling them we cannot take a chance of you infecting the village which has remained clean up till now, and you have come all this way and you need to go back. We are not going to allow you to come to the village into the village. Suddenly they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go. So what happens when we talk about social distancing, which works in Italy? It works. You can do social
Right.
distancing. You can do social distancing in Sweden, right? They did herd immunity, right? But in the city of Mumbai, where the house is 12 by 12, where people live inside a chawl, right? And they have 6 people living in a house of 12 by 12, where they look forward to go out. There's I know that there are so many times that when we during Diwali and Ganpati and all these religious big religious functions that happen through the year, there's so many people who complain about decibel sound and people are playing over there and you need to stop them and it's such a big nuisance, etc., etc. But if you look at it, Anna, it's the one thing that allows those people who have nowhere else to or no other way to enjoy and liberate themselves and be free. They are the ones who are dancing on the streets.
Yeah.
They don't have homes, and if they
Yes.
have homes, there are too many people living in those homes. So what works in Italy, what works in the UK, what works in America or Sweden will possibly not work in India. We need the government needs to start figuring out a, a unique method that works in this country, because we've
Right.
done it. Huh? We've actually bajao the thalis, we've done all the diyas, we've done everything that what we were told to do, and we've been very. I'm shocked at
I'm
the
amazed.
way
I am amazed that we behave the way we behave because everyone has, by and large, can you imagine the size of our country? And people have listened, and we have been pretty well behaved, I think.
No, totally. I mean, if you see some of the images that came out, those drone shots of the city of Mumbai, empty, empty.
Yes.
As a filmmaker, my first reaction, being very selfish, was, "Can I get those drone shots? Can I?" I mean, because when we want to shoot in the city and it's madness, and you're not being able to lock down streets. Here, you
Yes.
had the city which was in total lockdown, nothing there. You can move the camera the way you want. So I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking, wow, lovely. Well, how can we do this? How is it possible? But the fact of the matter is that you had 20 to 20 million people just sitting at home, right? They did not come out. So they listened and they said, okay, we will listen to you and we will stay at home. That's great. We've done everything here.
Nikhil, another thing that we had spoken about was that, people throng to the big cities everywhere in the world, and Mumbai being one such example. And we were talking about how people come because they come for opportunity. They come because they don't have employment or they have farmland which is not giving them the kind of money they need to be able to support their families. So they leave and come here. But in the process, if we were to do something to enable people in the interiors, give them incentive to stay there and be able to support themselves, it would solve a lot of issues at various levels. And one of the things that you, through Sanctuary Nature Foundation, have been working on is the Cocoon Conservancy. You know, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it is fascinating.
Yeah, so it's again, I think the Cocoon Conservancy is something that Bittu Sehgal dreamed up several years ago, and he's been working on in stealth with it. And he was, in fact, even the way he went about, because he was not sure that it could possibly work. But the pilot program which he started at Kothangam, which is in the Umred Karandla belt, which is near the national reserve over there, the forest reserve over there. The idea basically is that a lot of the farmland which surrounds forest reserves have been decimated. They've been decimated because bad practices of farming, bad irrigation methods, famine, drought. A lot of because as a result of which the farmlands are totally finished. As a result of which the farmer does not know what to do with the farmland. So he's compelled to either go into the forests, and as a result of which there's a huge amount of man-animal conflict. He goes into the forest because he wants to. He feels there's more cultivable land over there. Cut down the forest, try and grow something over there. This part of the land is completely dead. Let me try and do something else with the land, with new parts of land that is available to him. He would either do that or he would come to the city, right? You have migrate to the city because your farmer, you're not being able to farm. You migrate to the city, you start doing construction work, you will start working on a construction site. You do what migrants usually do when they come to the big city. The idea that Cocoon does is basically it allows the farmer to lease out the land to Sanctuary Nature Foundation. We pay them. We pay them for not coming to the city. Basically, we pay them for allowing us to use that land to not do anything. Allow the land to regenerate itself. Okay,
and not do anything.
Not to do anything, to just heal. But of course, now suddenly they say, but listen, we can't be sitting at home and not do anything. We need to be working. How can we be? So the idea is also to allow ethical tourism to happen in that area, where people who have been vetted by Sanctuary Nature Foundation will use that land to build lodges or tour operating methods, and hire and teach and hire the local farmers and the local other people over there to be able to run those lodges themselves or work in those lodges themselves, to run possibly tour operating units and to self-sustain themselves. We are paying for the land, so that we are just telling them don't do anything.
But the land stays in their name.
Absolutely, the land totally stays in their name. It's only being leased out to Sanctuary Nature Foundation, and then what has happened in Gautam, it has totally regenerated. The plants have come back, the insects have come back, the butterflies have come back, even the tigers have come back, right?
Yes.
So the way, like what Bittu likes to say is that jahan pe tiger yamdoot ho sakta tha, he's become a benefactor. He's giving back to you, right?
The Annadatta, that was the word.
Exactly. So Anna, Bittu. So Yamdoot has become Annadatta. So which is I think that since the pilot program has worked, the one big vertical that we are looking forward to taking forward in Sanctuary Nature Foundation is exactly this, which is that find other forest reserves, identify other communities which are around those forest reserves, which have been suffering and which have been looking for looking for sustenance, and recreating that program in different in those other places.
So we increase the wild area, and
Yes.
we let go of the farmland that in any case wasn't really giving them any returns.
Correct. So it's like, so rewilding is going to be a very big term that most people are going to be hearing about going forward in possibly the next 5 years, 10 years, because more and more areas and more and, I mean, I read somewhere about a couple that had bought couple of acres of land and they forgot about it. And one day after a couple of years, they went back and they just saw forest has grown on that land, and they decided to buy more and more acres around that particular forest, and now there's a huge forest that has come up over there, so
Wow.
I know friends who have who earlier would invest in stocks,
Mm.
right, and they're playing the market. Today they are buying land and allowing it just to rewild, just
That's
regenerate.
that is really really lovely. And basically, the more we do this, the more we allow forest land to increase, we're actually helping ourselves even economically, the
Yes,
country, right?
yes,
So
yes.
that's a win-win.
Sorry?
But I'm saying it's a win-win.
It is, yeah, totally.
And also, Nikhil, I was keen to ask you because I know that you're positive about the direction that we're heading in. It's not like we're holding our heads and saying, why are we here? We are here because we know why we're here. We know that we've not listened to all the warning signs, right? But about going ahead and say the impact that this is going to have on kids and on children. I don't mean the very little ones who may not be able to understand the might of this, nor am I talking about the adult children, but the kids in between. For instance, what would you want to tell your daughter?
I think that, Anna, first of all, I think that when I hear a lot of people online and a lot of people talking and saying that when are we going to go back? When will all this, when will we be able to replay hit the pause button and unpause it? My, my sincere request to them is let's not go back.
Yes,
If, let's please take this as a wonderful, I mean, I not wonderful, let's take this as a important moment in our lives to understand that it was not a very good world that we were coming with, that we were living in, right? I mean, I just want to read a couple of statistics that I have, because I don't want to get it wrong. I mean, it's mind boggling. Total number of under 5 deaths worldwide is 5.3 million, right? Total number of under 5 deaths is 5.3 million. 1 in
children
26
at the age of 5.
yeah, below the age of 5, right? 1 in 26 children die. 1 in 26 children die in India below the age of 5,
My God.
right? Now, I mean, half of all under 5 deaths in 2018 occurred in just 5 countries. Only in 5 countries, half of this 5.3 million was in India, Nigeria, Pakistan, Ethiopia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, let's talk about children that are trafficked in India every year. In India every year there is in India as many as one child disappears every 8 minutes. Yeah, what is the world that we are talking about? Women are being abused in India. The number is staggering. 378,277 cases were reported in 2018. Farmer suicide. 12,000 farmers committed suicide between 2015 and 2018. Right? I mean, I can't believe that just last 2 months ago, me, you, all of us were walking with placards, and we were fighting for our human rights. We were fighting for anti-CAA. We were saying why must we discriminate on the basis of religion? Polarization in this world is at an all-time high. All-time high, right? Everywhere. You go to any news channel, and it's not as if I want to go to only this one particular news channel is polarizing. All the news channels are polarized, right? Because it's there everywhere. Look at the climate. Australia bushfires, right? More than 1 billion mammals, birds, and reptiles lost their lives in that fire. 46 million acres was lost in Australia bushfire. In Amazon, right? That's in Amazon. It is 906 hectares. That's 2,240,000 acres were lost in Amazon. So Antarctica, Arctic, the polar ice caps are melting. Species are becoming extinct all over the world. And the great thing, and that's why I'm saying so all this is happening, but the great thing is that I have a 13-year-old daughter, right?
Yeah.
And she also watches the news and she also reads some stuff and she goes to a good school and they ask questions and she comes to me and she asks me, listen, Dad, do you think this Greta Thunberg is is all just faff, or is she real? Is she real? So I'm saying they're questioning. They are all not just, they're not willing to, they're not only accepting, right? So they are also questioning right now this pandemic, and they are saying that we don't care about the masks. We are okay with social distancing. We are okay with isolation. We are okay with learning online. In fact, they've all embraced it. They've embraced this
Yes,
online
very
learning.
well, very well.
Very well, they've embraced it. They have Zoom calls with their friends. So
Yes,
for them, it's a different world that they are getting used to to take over and take on, right? For them, it doesn't matter. I mean, for us, it is like, oh my God, I want to go to a mall. Oh my God, I want to go to a cinema hall. It doesn't care. For them, what is it? Tomorrow they'll have to watch something. They'll come online on some platform. They'll watch it first. They'll enjoy it. They'll not enjoy it. They'll post it. They'll post a review. They'll do whatever they have to do. Right? Constantly, they're doing these things. So we have to understand that what we need to do as this generation that participated in screwing it all up. We have to
right.
promise to them that we will aid them in taking this forward in a better place. I mean, if I have to wear a mask, Anna, just so that I can see beyond, I can see the horizon.
Yeah.
Suddenly Delhi there is no pollution, right?
Yes.
Suddenly Delhi there's no pollution. Suddenly, I mean, you're seeing
We're listening
videos of,
to birds.
yes.
We're listening to birds that we never knew existed. I mean, I always thought we had pigeons and crows around us, but we're seeing all these different types of birds outside our window, and they were always
You're
there. We can hear them.
absolutely. Yeah, and you're seeing these videos of animals coming in places, whether they are true, whether they are false, where some of them are true, some of them are false, but it's so endearing. It's so nice to basically feel, that, wow, okay, it's happening. Yeah, there's something. I think the world is healing, right? I mean, I really feel that it needed to have been broken so that it can start fixing itself. Now we have to just we have to help fix it. That's it, and we have to fix it.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's a good way forward for all of us to be thinking. I know we're all alarmed by what has happened, but at least we know that strangely we've all come. I think everyone has gone through that phase of wondering why this pause, but this pause was necessary, and this pause has come at a time that it's come, and we all have to deal with it somehow. But we have to go ahead positively, and I'm sure things will hopefully settle. And let's hope that we don't go back to where we were.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just in closing, I just want to say that the wonderful thing that this country offers every citizen of India is the vote, right? And there are two things that you have to make sure that when you're voting forward is, one, that your candidate is putting money in public health. The problem that we have today is because our hospitals are in a horrible shape, right? Put money into public health. And number two, the word climate crisis or the term climate crisis has to be part of every single campaign. It's not
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. But thank you, Nikhil, for being here and sharing all your views. And let's hope that we can all get together across the world. And really, it's not about even just our country. It's across the board. It's the first time the entire world has come together with this crisis. And like the whole world went into lockdown, I hope that in a global way, it becomes commonplace for us to be talking about the things that you're talking about and acting on them. Thank you. Thanks so much.